Good. First thing you notice about my template, that end is curled up. All right, your template's going to curl. It doesn't really have a front side and a back side. If the template curls up, flip it over. That way when it curls down, it will stay down better. So you'll make tracing a little bit easier. So you got two choices. You've got about 4 inches where you can move this template top to bottom. All right, so you can move the template up here. That makes the seam a little bit lower. Or I can move this template down here, and that makes the seam a little bit higher. That's up to you. I think I want to keep it lower on my balloon. So what I'm going to do, by keeping the seam lower on the balloon, it also allows me just to line up this front. So if I always put the top of this right on the edge of that paper, the seam should be in the same spot. But what I also do, don't be afraid to do this. Put a couple little marks right there. That's where my seam wants to be about. That way it'll be consistent all the way on the balloon. Then you also have a whole bunch of room this way. There you got 20 inches. So if you have a hole or you have a flaw or a loose seam, you can control where you trace it side to side. So once you find out where you want, I'm going to put the top, I'm going to line up my seam, I'm going to take a little piece of tape, and I'm going to put it on my panel, off my panel. I'm going to take another little piece of tape. I'm going to push this kind of down with my hand gently, half on the panel and on my tissue. Then all I do is I take my marker, Crayola, washable, pencil, pen, whatever, but Crayola washable markers work best, or Expo markers, and I barely put any pressure down. And I'm just going to rest it against the edge, and I kind of slide this hand. My left hand, I'm sliding down just to keep the template down. I kind of walk in my left hand down with it as I trace. And I like to trace top to bottom. Put it here. Walk my hand down that edge as I'm tracing. It's as simple as that. Okay, the tip is to keep the seam roughly in the same location. Now, when you peel off the tape, start on your template and peel it off your template. Start on your template, peel it off the template. Now, if it rips down the bottom, it doesn't matter. The bottom of your balloon is going to be taped all the way around to keep that open. I mean, peel it off carefully, but if it does tear a little bit, rip a little bit, it really doesn't matter. First of all, it's the bottom of your balloon. So that's where the colder air is going to be, because the warm air is going to rise, hit the top, come down. So you're going to talk about convection currents in your science classes this year: radiation, conduction, and convection. All right, that's the way the Earth heats unevenly. The warm lava and the warm material rises, hits the Earth's surface, cools, and then that's what causes the earthquakes and the plates to shake. Well, same thing with a hot air balloon. Now, cutting, my only tips I have for you cutting, again, there's no right or wrong. I like to start at the bottom, and I like to cut all the way up to halfway point, and then I cut it off. I come to the other side, I'll cut all the way up to my halfway point, and then I'll cut that material off. And then I spin it. And I will cut up the rest of the way, and I'll cut up the rest of the way, trim the top, trim the bottom. Just makes it easier. You might have jagged edges when you cut. That's okay. Try to have the least amount of jagged edges as possible, because once you get all of your pieces looking like this, looking like the Gore shape, when we assemble them, we're going to be folding over the edges. So jagged edges are okay, but you want to cut it out as neat as you can. And that's pretty much it. Tomorrow, not sure. It is a half a day. Not sure if I'm going to show you a video on